as we start up the summer hard court season, I can just say the way hard courts work as far as speed element, bounce element, you always start, I start with any surface. I like to learn about the sub base, the root of it, and then go up from there, the base, and of course the top layer. I don't care if it's grass, clay, whatever. So on a hard court, usually it's asphalt is your general base. That's, what they were using from a long time ago. They used to use asphalt without paint on it. And then you build up from there. But sometimes they use cement. And in Atlanta, unless they change something I don't know about, they use a cement. And I think they use the new style with a tension cement. That's I don't want to get into that. But basically, just to say this. If there's cement going on, it's a harder sub base than asphalt. Now, there's a lot of controversy. When I was learning all about hard courts, some of them, a lot of people said, look, it doesn't matter what the base or the sub base or anything. It's all about the sanding in the layer and the top layers of paint. I've also had other people tell me, no, that all matters, what's going on underneath. I tend to think it all matters because that's the way I view most everything. It's all together. And I do think, definitely concrete is a harder sub base than asphalt and will be faster. So that's one reason Atlanta's faster. It's unusual because it has cement instead of asphalt. Then you have to look at another thing. Now again, unless they changed it, it's usually just Deco color. It's of the Deco line of product, which is California products. They have a lot of different stuff now, but it was originally Plexipave, and then Deco and now other things. But the Deco, when you say Deco color, that's just the acrylic, the paint. Deco is the actual paint with rubber granules in it. So it's what they call a cushioned acrylic, a cushioned paint surface. Rubber granules will also, now again, another debate on this thing, but rubber granules usually will slow down. It gives a softer cushion effect. Now, a lot of companies promote it as, look, it only makes the cushion for the player's feet, knees, and legs. They try to make the hard courts a little more, and especially older amateur tennis too, like older people. It helps give them cushion to their extremities, their feet, legs, and all that. Well, this is true, but I also think it does help to soften the bounce, and so that helps. So when you add sand in, which will slow it, it will also be a softer bounce, so it slows it as well. So cement is going to be harder. Non-cushion. This is, as far as I know, unless they changed it, it's Deco color, which is just the paint without the rubber granules in it, without the cushion. And part of that, and when it's in a hot climate, they do this a lot in other hot climates where they just use a Plexipave. Plexi cushion is Plexipave with the cushion. Plexipave just doesn't have the cushion. And that's because in the hot climates it can get sticky. And that's a big part of that. So actually in really dry climates it doesn't work as well either. So you need like a normal climate. And the dry climate's for another reason. But anyway, so this has just cement, just paint, no rubber. That's all faster. And of course they're going to sand it correctly. I mean, they're going to sand it to slow it down some. You have to be very careful today's big power tennis and the rackets. So I'm sure it's sanded well. But those things, plus of course Atlanta heat. Now you're going to hear some people, I think Brad Gilbert was talking about it one year, making a big deal about the altitude. There is just a bit of altitude, nothing compared to other places. And I think it's so minor, it's such a minimal issue. I mean, it's a minimal variable compared to the heat in Atlanta and of course the Deco color without the cushion. Those two things to me are going to be bigger than any kind of altitude, and the cement as well. So I don't even care really about the altitude. It's too small to worry about. It's mainly, again, a hard sub base, no cushion, so a hard layer of base, a hard base. And then the sanding, I think they're probably sanding it pretty well because, they already know it's hot there. It's going to be fast anyway. So I think the sanding's fine. I don't think that contributes. But the heat will contribute. As far as the balls here, it's the U.S. Open built balls, and I'm pretty sure they're probably, unless they're using generic Wilsons, they usually tend to try to use the Wilson U.S. Opens, and those have gotten slower over the last few years. But again, they're still faster than any ball that Australia's been using. So, I'll leave that out. That's just, Wilson U.S. Open, yes, it's slowed down some, but unless you have a lot of sand on top. I mean, the Deco they use at the U.S. Open is heavily sanded with many, many paint layers, and they have different types of sanding in the layers even. It's a very variable surface. It's a brilliant type of technology, and they're not going to really put all those layers down here for Atlanta, I don't think, again, unless something's changed. So again, not as many layers, no rubber granules, a hard cement subbase, and the heat, you have a fast hardcourt. This is faster. This should be faster than Australia or anything you've seen. Australia's been overrated how fast. It's not that fast there. It's a little bit sneaky quick, but there's still plenty of sanding. You've got a lot of cushion in the plexi cushion, and you have a heavier ball there. So this, yeah, it's fast. And Renee Stubbs was kind of commenting on how fast the rallies have been.